Holy Story 13 Josiah and Justice crushed by the ordeal. Josiah and the justice of a man crushed by the ordeal. I would like to give little flaws of evolution through the holy story of the people of God who is refining, telling the story of Josiah, the St. Louis of the Bible. A man who found in the Temple of Jerusalem, the writings of Moses, who realized that they were not observed. Then he decided to impose on his people the whole fidelity, the law of Moses. They read the text and destroyed the serpent of brass that Moses made in the desert. When you looked at it and you were bitten by a snake, you would not die. Why? Because the people worshipped him like an idol. He had it destroyed. He therefore finally established what Moses had dreamed, the unique worship of Yahweh. One could say, that's it, the people achieved justice, thanks to their holy king. Well, it was then, that the Pharaoh of Egypt, wishing to surrender to fight the Babylonians, wanted to ask permission to cross Israel, and King Josiah decided no. It was a crime of lèse-pays. He presented himself before Pharaoh. Pharaoh had beside him a precision archer who shot an arrow, perhaps 100 yards away, into Josiah's heart. We brought back his body. He died like that, miserably, and the people did not understand. The worst thing is that the events rushed. It was in the years that followed that the entire people was deported by the Babylonians. The Temple of Jerusalem was destroyed. To understand this terrible test, it is because until now the Hebrew people thought that because they were behaving correctly, they were getting happiness on earth, and many children, and the absence of epidemics, and when was bad, that's where the diseases came from. This story of Josiah shows that it is false, and this story will profoundly change and forever the mentality of the Hebrew people, who will realize that in fact, it is more complicated than that. He will understand that misfortunes can strike the righteous, as bad. It is an incredible spiritual leap in the history of humanity. A leap into the truth. When we compare Moses and this people after the exile in Babylon, we see a greater depth. He was marked by the test. What does the Bible reveal? Well, it reveals how God, through this ordeal, has refined his people, so that he longs for a Savior who explains to him why these injustices, instead of believing that the man struck is necessarily someone who has sinned. If we take the curve of sacred history with Adam and Eve, the fall here Cain and Abel, the slow recovery with Moses, we can say that with Joshua we arrive there, in a period when the Hebrew people will become a people just, not in all his individuals, but in any case in his religious reflection.